If you're still struggling to achieve that seamless powder application in 2025, you definitely landed on the right page. Welcome to the Beauty Dish, where we do and talk everything makeup technique and photography. For this video, I'll be sharing with you my foolproof loose and compact powder technique. So, say goodbye to the creasing under eyes and flashback. Because if you're a certified fleur babe, they can't ever catch you slipping. Period. So prior to applying your loose powder, ensure to thoroughly blend out the creases visible under the eyes with your brush. Using a powder puff, dip it into your loose powder and remove excess powder to ensure an even distribution of the product. A little at a time does the trick. Use a tapping motion opposed to swiping to avoid lifting the cream product underneath. Repeat the same process on the other side. Your application should look seamless, crease-free, and not patchy. In the event that your makeup seems to be separating or excessively creasing, you might have done the following things wrong. Poor cleansing, insufficient hydration, excess concealer, the wrong type of concealer was used, or poor application method. To further ensure that you get that seamless under-eye blend, here are a few more tips. Use a light hand and build up gradually. Select the appropriate powder based on skin type, oily or dry skin. Set your face immediately after blending your cream products. And lastly, pressed powder first, then loose powder. Hey Fleur Babes, welcome to chapter 5, which is setting the face and I don't know what. Setting the face. I'm gonna start again. Hey Fleur Babes, welcome to chapter 5, which is setting the face with powder. So I'm gonna jump straight into it. These are my tools, right? So the reason why I have different brushes is because each brush has its own function. And if you want to know more, buy the book. So these are the tools I'm going to be using. This is another one. And I have my loose powder. Huda Beauty is my go-to. They actually have 5 different shades depending on the skin tone. And my skin tone is banana bread. If not, I use blondie. And I have my V Beauty powder palette. As you can see, these ones are close to done because that is the majority of my clients that book me. So that's another thing that I love about this palette, is that I can have all my shades on one palette and not having to buy different compact powder palettes on their own, which is also cost effective. So I've already went ahead and set all the areas where I have applied my concealer, where I want to highlight my face, which is under the eye, the bridge of the nose, the forehead, chin, and cupid's bow area. And I used my powder puff. And if you want to learn more on how to do a smooth and seamless application, buy the book. So right now I'm going to contour. So for those that know me, my Fleur Babes, period, they know that I don't like cream contouring because it can come across as a bit harsh. So what I usually do is that I highlight with concealer after my foundation and my cream blush, but I contour with powder because I'm able to control how much I put at a time on my face, and I can decrease or increase the intensity depending on the type of look I'm going for or the type of look that the client wants. So I'm going to use this angled brush for obvious reasons. If you don't know, buy the book. Okay, so I'm going to go in with a shade that's like 2 shades darker, which is this one. 2 shades darker than my foundation. It's in the book. And then I'm going to be contouring right here by my cheekbone to get that snatched look. And my Fleur Babes know this. I use the top of my ear as reference and I end in this section here. I don't contour komolomo, karuna le mustache. No, babe. So those are my points of reference. It's in the book. And then I go along the circumference of my face, just along the hairline. Continue using a back and forth tapping motion to contour and set the face. I change out my brushes depending on which part of my face I'm working on, and I do this because it gives me a clean blend overall. All the areas you haven't set, use a powder shade similar to your foundation shade and blend between your contour and highlighted areas. Eliminate any visible harsh lines. And did the contouring. So the trick with contouring is that you're creating dark shadows, you're creating an illusion. How to prove that you've contoured. It must show depending on what angle. You can see the shade is there. You can see that there's a dark shade there without me having to like do the hella geometric things on my face. Anywho, that's a topic for the workbook, right? If you buy it. So I'm just gonna polish up under my eye using a small like tapered brush, and then also like the edge of my nose just before I go ahead and just contour my nose area. So at this point, it's just you using your brush depending on the function to just mattify the rest of your face so that there aren't any like oily areas visible, because our aim is to achieve a mattified look and to prolong your makeup. That's the whole purpose of powdering your face, to increase longevity and reduce excess oil production during the day. So what I like doing is just doing circular motions along the side of my nose from the beginning of my brow down to the side of my eye, just to create an illusion of a more cinched in nose. Alright, so last but not least of the powder application is blush, which is my favorite part. So with my Fleur signature look, the blush application doesn't only end on the apples of the cheek. I like blending it into the under eye, and if you know this, I also do it with the liquid blush, and that's what kind of brings forward the blush and makes it more evident, opposed to just using powder on its own or the liquid blush on its own. I can see it from here, well, up close and personal you can see it because there's just so many powder layers over it, but layering your liquid blush and then following up with powder blush makes it very flattering. So that's my secret. So I'm just gonna show you how I do the blending. And with the powder blush, what's important is your brush. You can't achieve a smooth blend. I mean, if you have a look at the surface area that you're trying to cover with the blush, you can't use a brush like this. You can't. You can't. So your tools matter. Your tools contribute to the overall or the end result of what you're trying to achieve. So take that into consideration. And if you're still a bit confused about that, buy the book. So I do a back and forth swiping motion, back and forth swiping motion, and less is more. That's also another thing you need to know about blush, because actually most of my palettes are quite pigmented, so I don't have to do too much. I can dip into it like once or twice and that'll be enough to cover one side of my face. and I just keep blending and blending, and so that I can evenly distribute the pigment. And yeah, that's blush application. I will come back with the final look at the very end. In the meantime, click the link in my bio and buy the book. That's actually another like pandemic.
What?
Like a person using the wrong tool for the wrong function. For a function. Like